Hi, this is Dr. Cham, and today we're going to discuss about the city brand plan, how to read a city brand plan. Uh, in First of all, we know that it's the city. It works on the principle of X-rays that are applied in a sequence of slices, and the slices, okay, as shown here, it can vary in the thickness, but generally they are 5 to 10 mm. So before really going into the thing, first of all, you need to keep this thing in your mind, the anatomy of the human brain. So this is a frontal lobe, that's a parietal lobe. This is occipital, this is temporal, and this is cerebellum. And here you have the midbrain, and you have pons, medulla, and spinal cord. If I talk about the lobes of the human brain, so if I construct a picture like this, so that's gonna be like frontal lobe, and here it is parietal, and below parietal is temporal, and above is occipital, and below is cerebellum. You need to keep this thing in your mind, okay? That's create a mental picture of this thing, because when you're gonna see in the slices, okay, you have to identify the structure. Where is the parietal lobe, where is temporal lobe? So as I said, that it's like in the slices, the lesser the thickness of the slices is, you're gonna get more cuts and the fine details. Now the brand, we know that, okay, brand, there are like these protuberant structures that's called gyri, and these dips that are called sulci or sulci. The sulci and the gyri, actually, they give a convoluted structure to the brand. That's the iconic structure of the brand, because to accommodate in this small cavity, brand itself is a big structure. To accommodate in this small cavity, okay, cranium, that's now possible if it's like flat, okay. So that's why it's in the sulci and the gyri, that's in this shape, the convoluted structure. Now the black, you can see, they are the sulci, okay, they are the sulci. And the other thing, you see, these are the gyri, okay, in the brand. And here you can see the central sulcus. Okay, now in the brand, okay, we have the thing, actually we use certain terms. One is hypodense and other is hyperdense. Now what we take is the brand matter as a reference, so it is an isodense. So the thing which is darker than the brand, I mean to say, it's a black, that's going to be hypodense. And anything that is on the whiter side, okay, as compared to the brand, because we have taken the brand as a reference, so that's going to be brand matter, that's going to be hyperdense. So white hyperdense, black hypodense, just remember that one. Now here are the different colors you see on a brand. So on one extreme it is jet black, and on other extreme it's pure white. The rule in the city is that anything that looks white is either blood or bone. You need to remember this. Anything that looks white is either blood or bone. Now, the blackest thing on the CT brand is air, okay, and the white thing, okay, most white, okay, the pure white is, you can say, that is bone, okay. Now the other colors lie in between the black and the white. As you can see here, okay, there are different shades of the gray color here. So the blackest is air, less black than the air is CSF, and then less black than the CSF is, you can see here, the white matter. Let me change the color. So this one, it's a white matter, okay. And then the ischemia looks like black. Ischemia, the black of the ischemia, that is in between this CSF and this brand matter. Okay, the black color of this brand matter and the CSF, that is in between. I'm going to show this in a while. Look over here. So this is CSF, this is brand matter, okay, and here is something that is in between the black color of the CSF and the brand matter. This is ischemia. Let me make it clear. Here you can see this is ischemic part. Then now look at here. So this is the bone, and what is that? This is blood. We know that this is bone. but this is blood. Okay, so anything that looks white is either blood or the bone. This black is CSF, we know, with this ventricle. Now, if you look at the CT looks like that. Depends on the thickness of the slices. It's going to show you either more slices or the less slices like this. It is again a CT brand. What's the difference? This is a CT on a computer screen. This is a CT on an illuminator. So white color, white light of the illuminator gives a blue tint um, to the CT. Okay, otherwise that's the same thing. Okay, now what we're gonna do is over here, how we're gonna see the CT scan. First of all, okay, we're gonna see these two slides, okay, then these two slides, and then these two. So we are going above from the cerebrum down over there. So we are starting from here, the cuts, and we're gonna go down. Okay, so let's go here. So first of all, we will identify the lobes, and then we will be identifying the different structures over there. You need to remember the diagram I made. Okay, you need to remember this. I'm going to write again. This is a frontal lobe. Above it's parietal, below is temporal, above is occipital, and below is cerebellum. Okay, keep this thing in your mind. So here you can see a frontal lobe. Okay, and in between this the line that is fox cerebri. No, it's a fox cerebri. The line over here, that's a fox cerebri. So it's a frontal lobe, it's a frontal and the parietal, frontal and the parietal, frontal and the parietal, okay, and here occipital lobe, frontal, okay, on one side, other side, parietal, occipital, frontal, parietal, occipital, frontal, parietal, occipital, frontal, parietal, occipital, okay. Let's go above. Now we are going to see these two slides, okay. So frontal parietal occipital, okay, frontal parietal, okay, occipital, frontal temporal occipital, frontal temporal, yeah, occipital, frontal, a smaller one, temporal, and here you can see occipital a little bit, and it's a cerebellum now. Okay, it's a cerebellum now. It's again temporal. Okay, it's temporal and it's cerebellum. Temporal, a smaller one, and the cerebellum. Okay, just go a little above. No, it's cerebellum. Okay, we know that's the cerebellum. Okay, let's go here, go again. So this is the structure. How we're going to identify? I'm going to give you a trick over here. Now if you see over here, the brand picture is complete as compared to, compare this one with this. Here the brand picture is not complete. What by brand picture is this round thing you see, brand matter. The picture is not complete here. Okay, there's a bone you can see. Okay, in between bone see, you can see the bone. Here the picture is complete. Here the picture is complete. Here again the picture is not complete. So I'm going to give you a trick that's not the hard and the fast rule, but this is how you identify the structures. Okay, once where this is not complete, okay, this is no more a parietal. Now it is a temporal lobe. So now you have go you have you are a little down there. Okay, so this was a parietal, but here this is a not a parietal, this is a temporal. Now this is a temporal, this is a temporal, this is a temporal. So where your picture is not complete, okay, you need you can guess that, oh no, it's no more a parietal, it's a temporal lobe. So this is how you differentiate parietal and a temporal. The other thing is the cerebellum. Okay, you know, the cerebellum and the occipital. So this is cerebellum, this is cerebellum, this is cerebellum now. Okay, when it starts completing this half of the picture. Okay, but here's a little occipital, maybe now it's in occipital, it's occipital lobe, it's occipital lobe, it's occipital lobe, occipital lobe. Okay, this is how you differentiate between. This is just a trick. Okay, now let's go to the structures to identify the structures. Going from the above, okay, you see something over here. This thing is, this is lateral ventricle, this is lateral ventricle, one on one side, other on the other side. Body of the lateral ventricle. Go a little down. This is now the frontal horn of lateral ventricle, because it's a frontal lobe, and this is occipital horn of lateral ventricle. First I showed the body of the lateral ventricle, and now it is frontal horn of lateral ventricle. This is temporal horn of lateral ventricle. This is again, and this is again this is temporal, this is frontal. Here you can see something, a white thing over here. This is pineal gland, this is pineal gland. And here you can see something here, these blacks, this is Sylvian fissure, one on one side, other on other side. Now if you see over here, this is, yeah, the frontal horn of lateral ventricle. This is Sylvian fissure. This is something, that's third ventricle, and this is quadgeminal cistern. Quadgeminal cistern, third ventricle, Sylvian fissure you are seeing over here. Can you identify? Now, if you here you come, it's a butterfly-like structure you can see. That is your midbrain. If you come over here now, okay, it's pons, it's medulla, and we know that pons and medulla are at the level of, this is fourth ventricle over here. You can see a black dot. This one, that's a fourth ventricle. Okay, if you go a little down, that's medulla, that's medulla, that is spinal cord. Go a little up, this is pons, midbrain. This is how you identify the structures. Okay, if you see over here, this is a black, jet black air, these are your sinuses. So it seems like a frontal sinus. Okay, this is mastoid air cells, I believe. Okay, these are your ear your eyeballs. Okay, here, nose, nasal, that's a sinus as well. That's little, looks like jet black in air. Go a little above, these are the dots, you can see the lens. Okay, and these are the sinuses containing jet black air. This is the nasal septum, you can see in between. So this is how you see the a CT brand. Okay, now another thing that is important over here is here. Okay, this, focus on this one, or this image. Okay, it's something like this thing. Okay, and it's like that. Okay, so here you have the structures which are not shown over there. So this is your frontal horn of lateral ventricle. Along with that, these are caudate nuclei. Okay, then you have this internal capsule. Internal capsule, this is interior, this is not shown in the picture. This is an interior horn, uh, sorry, interior limb of internal capsule, and this is posterior limb of internal capsule. Okay, and on the sides there are lentiform nuclei, and in between these are thalami. Let's go again. So this is your frontal horn of lateral ventricle. Okay, along with that you have caudate nuclei, then you have internal capsule, interior limb, posterior limb. On the sides, lentiform nuclei, and again over here is thalami. Okay, now you can see over here in this picture, these are the things. These are the choroid plexus, calcification of choroid plexus. It's over there. Let's see this picture. So these are the choroid plexus calcification in the lateral ventricle, and this is your pineal gland or pineal gland, whatever you pronounce. Okay, this is lateral ventricle, frontal horn. Okay, you can see a little bit third ventricle here. Okay, this is pineal gland calcification. This is how you read a CT scan. Thank you.